Enjoying 3D in 2025. We've all seen a 3D movie at some point or have experienced 3D most likely during some season of our lives. 3D stands for the third dimension, and sometimes we think about 3D as the world around us is 3D. So when you feel objects that are round or have depth, you can see how far you reach for an object and you grab it. That has a lot to do with 3D, but 3D also has to do with viewing 3D content. And this is where there's a flat screen, just like the one you're looking at me at right now. And there is no 3D in the screen except for the illusion of 3D created by the glasses, the light, and many other factors. So, this presentation, I'll guide you through the history of 3D, some of the more recent uses of 3D, and what 3D can look like in the future, which includes a demo that I've created. And if any of you would like that demo, please comment down below and I'll show you how you can get it. Okay, so first, the history of 3D. In the 3rd century BC, Euclid discovered that right and left eyes see differently. So, this is Euclid. This is where we get the phrase Euclidean geometry. He is known as the father of geometry, which makes sense. He also is very into sculptures, shapes, 3D, geometry, and after he discovered that both eyes see differently. It took many years after, in 1838, Charles Wheatstone discovered that something could be done about these two different images that the eyes see. And so he discovered how the eyes see two images as one. And so next, in 1891, French photographer Louis Arthur Ducos du Haron, he patented anaglyph. And the word anaglyph means sculpture in Greek, and he patented anaglyph 3D in 1891. So in front of me, I have 3D glasses, and these are anaglyph 3D glasses. So the red lens on the left gets rid of all the red parts of the 3D image so that you can see the blue parts, which resembles the left eye. And the blue lens would filter out, it would hide the blue part of the image, allowing you to see the red part, which would pop out, and that red part would resemble what the right eye would see. So this was a common form of 3D. And in the same year, in 1891, polarized 3D also came out. But before I go there, I'd like to show if you have anaglyph 3D glasses, you can wear them now. I'd like to show a video uh, pretty much called The Arrival of the Train in 1896. This movie was created. It's a famous movie. But in 1903, the Anaglyph 3D version came out. And this was recorded with two lenses, which is why it's available in Anaglyph 3D. So we'll watch this. And there's no sound. As you can hear, it's simply a train coming towards you, and it pops out, the smoke pops out, the guy in the front smoking there, and the people exiting the train are indented. They're further inside the image, and the closer people appear, the more they pop out on the screen. So this is what Anaglyph 3D is all about. It's pretty amazing that More than a century ago, 1903, we have the world's first anaglyph movie. And so now let's talk about polarized 3D. So polarized 3D was invented by John Anderton in 1891. And this is where we get the phrase the silver screen. So when you hear people saying the big silver screen, they're actually referring to a necessity in the theaters where the screen needed to be silver so that the light could reflect properly for polarized 3D to work. So the way polarized 3D works is you have an absorption axis of polarizer glasses, and the axis is at a 45-degree angle on the right, and pretty much the opposite, negative 45 degrees on the left. And when you set up the projectors, you set up the projectors in the same way. But it's very important that uh, the left projector is parallel in polarization to the left eye, but perpendicular to the right eye. So it'll make a nice even cross with the right eye. And then that right projector would make a nice even cross with the left eye and be completely parallel in polarization to the right eye. So this is very easy to do with two projectors at home. You can simply buy polarizing filters for two projectors and put the 45-degree one on the right. This image has them in reverse, and put the negative 45 degree, which is 135 degrees. This filter on the right you would put on the left. And so you could also buy these polarized 3D glasses, which also on the left lens, which we're looking at it on the opposite side, but on the left lens, it would have the negative 45 degrees, and on the right lens, it would have the 45-degree polarization. Now, you might wonder, as I wondered, if the left eye can see more of the left in real life and the right eye can see more of the right, of what you're seeing in real life, then how come in 3D content, the left content shows more of the right side and the right content shows more of the left side? And this is because in reality, the left eye isn't seeing the left content. The left eye is seeing the right content because the filter of the left eye cancels out the left content. And so, in the same way, the right eye cancels out the right content so that it can see the left content. So the first example on the left is as if you're looking out a window. And so the plane is the window. And this is where if you're looking through a window, nothing would pop out of the window, but you're seeing what's beyond the window. And so that's a good example of positive parallax. And in a lot of 3D movies, what we look for is the negative parallax, where the content's popping out in front of us. And that simply can be summed up in the fact that when you look at your nose, you don't see one nose, you see two noses because your nose is very close to your eyes. And in the same way, the content that's converged more to that apparent position is going to pop out because it appears to be closer to you based on its positioning and the filters of the glasses uh, bouncing off the light and reflecting in different ways to show you different content. And what appears to be opposite are not opposites. The left sees what the left's supposed to see, and the right sees what the right's supposed to see. Another important note is that just because the very front object, the butterfly, pops out immensely because it's red on the left, blue on the right, that does not mean that the bunny will not pop out. The bunny is going to be half in, half out, and will not pop out as much as the butterfly. So in 2001, this person named Eric Dubois discovered that there was a better way to see anaglyph images, and that would be through this method that filters the colors of the original content. And this is a whole bunch of math that can pretty much be summed up in that reds and blues are going to be duller so that the 3D effect, the bright reds and bright blues that are part of bright cyan, that are a part of the Anaglyph 3D content, that they filter the eyes and the images correctly for the eyes. Another type of 3D is active shutter, where uh, two images are constantly taking turns being presented to the user, and these type of glasses require batteries or electricity because the glasses themselves have to activate the shutter. Let's talk about 3D Blu-rays. What's interesting about 3D Blu-rays is this was the start of affordable consumer 3D. If you remember back around 2010, this was really popular. You could buy a 3D TV, buy a 3D Blu-ray, buy a 3D Blu-ray player, put the 3D Blu-ray disc inside the 3D Blu-ray player, and wear the glasses that came with the 3D TV, and you could watch the movie in 3D. So basically, how Blu-ray 3D movies work is that they produce a side-by-side video that would be half width for the left and for the right, and the TV would stretch the image to be 16:9 and polarized so that you could view it with the polarized glasses. In 2016, 3D TVs stopped being produced, but people could still buy used 3D TVs or new 3D projectors, which are expensive, or they could rip their own Blu-ray discs using a converter for the computer and watch it on a headset such as an Oculus or MetaQuest now. So 3D Blu-rays still continue to be made, but now with the invention of Apple Vision Pro, the end of affordable consumer 3D came to existence. For many 3D Blu-rays, movie companies stopped making 3D Blu-rays for newer movies. People can't own many of these movies uh, because they can't buy an Apple Vision because of the price of an Apple Vision Pro. So this is the Apple Vision Pro on Apple's website, and this is the only way to watch newer 3D movies on streaming services such as Disney Plus. To solve the issue of no more 3D TVs and 3D projectors being expensive, I've created a tool that can be used to convert the MP4 that would originate from a 3D Blu-ray onto a format that is compatible for 3D polarized dual projectors. So this will not work for Apple Vision Pro movies until there's a way to extract the left and right content. But for 3D Blu-ray movies, this is an affordable option for two projectors to be able to play a 3D movie. And two projectors are a lot less expensive than a 3D projector. So what would be needed are the two polarizing filters, the 45 degrees for the right side and the negative 45 degrees for the left, and these polarized glasses that are circular because the filters that we're getting are circular are important. And next, all you would have to do is set up the two projectors in a way that one's on the left with the correct filter that I just mentioned, and the other one's on the right. And so when you do this, you want to load up the MP4 based on the Blu-ray content. So you just drag that in, and your browser does all the work. So there is no internet connection needed for this. And so next, you pop out the left by clicking this button. And when you have a projector, that's a left projector, you'll be able to map that part to the left projector and also angle the projector. So when you click this button, it will give you instructions on that window that goes on the left projector, that you want to angle that projector slightly right. And then once you have this window open, then you can set up. So let's say we dragged that already to the left projector, and we plug audio into that projector as well. So now the next instruction is to press play. And now we pop out that right projector, and these movies are set to play. The movies on the projectors are set to be fully in sync with each other. They have a time sync feature. And the movies on the monitor with the control buttons are exactly the same. When you pause, you'll notice that it's also paused on the projectors as well. This image on the control booth will be slightly faster than the ones on the projectors, but both projectors will be in sync. So there's nothing more than to just keep playing and to enjoy the movie. So if you like that tool, please comment down below. And thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. And I hope you enjoyed learning more about 3D.